Good morning, my name's Owen, this is Essex Walking Britain, and today we're going to be walking the Thetford Forest Walk.
She's gonna break me, but I don't give a damn right now. She wanna get down, I wanna get down, we're gonna get down. So she's gonna take me, it ain't even a thing right now. She wanna get down, I wanna get down, we're gonna get down.
So guys, I'm in a little place called Santon Downham, and it's slightly east of another place called Brandon, which we're hopefully going to go to as our next destination. Now, I'm so impressed with this place. As far as first impressions go, absolutely blown away. Just come across this really beautiful little bridge that I hope you've just seen there, and meeting some fantastic people doing some bird spotting. Really, really nice, good start to the day. Now, as far as days go, this is going to be a pretty incredible walk. We're going to meet with Harrison and Misha later, hopefully. So I'll show you a quick little video of the route, and then you'll be able to see where we're going to meet them. But have a little look at this, and I'll catch up with you afterwards. Today's walk is a 39-kilometre walk around Thetford Forest. The terrain was easy to navigate. However, if you wanted an easier walk, I'd suggest shortening the distance. Starting at Santon Downham, the first leg to Brandon was 5.5 kilometres in distance. The second leg to Lakenheath was 6 kilometres in distance. The third leg to Hockwold-cum-Wilton was 3 kilometres in distance. The fourth leg to Weeting was 7 kilometres in distance, and this is where we met Harrison and Misha. Grimes Graves was 8 kilometres in distance. The sixth leg to the Breck's picnic area was 4 kilometres in distance. And then the final leg back to Santon Downham was 2 kilometres in distance. So now you've had a little look at the route, you can see it truly is going to be magnificent. It's one that I've been sitting on for quite a long time now, really looking forward to. And I hope that Misha and Harrison enjoy it as well, because it's going to be a good little bit of experience for our summer challenge, which hopefully today I'm going to be able to announce to you where it's going to be and when it's going to be. So make sure you stay tuned and watch the whole video for that. We're hoping to do a little reveal at Grimes Graves, so please stick around, and it's going to be an interesting bit of information to catch there. So now we're currently sitting on the River Little Ouse, and we're going to walk up the river. We've just crossed a bridge from Suffolk into Norfolk, because the actual border between Suffolk and Norfolk flows the river, and we're pretty much going to be following up and down this river all day. So I'm currently in Norfolk, going to follow this path all the way to a place called Brandon, and then from there we're going to have a little bit more information, and then we'll see how the day goes from there. So anyway, see you in a bit.
She's gonna break me, but I don't give a damn right now. She wanna get down, I wanna get down, we're gonna get down. So she's gonna take me, it ain't even a thing right now. She wanna get down, I wanna get down, we're gonna get down. So she gave me a look that made me sweat. I think about it and I won't forget. Your hips soft into mine and we're taking our time, yeah, so slowly. And then we get on the ATV. I can feel you hanging on to me, to the black sand beach of Santorini, like slow it. No way that I could ever hold back with you coming like that, you coming like that. She's gonna break me, but I don't give a damn right now. She wanna get down, I wanna get down, we're gonna get down. So she's gonna take me, it ain't even a thing right now. She wanna get down, I wanna get down, we're gonna get down. So I could not think of going back. Too late, I'm on the track. I'm gonna quit my job, I hope you do too. I had you on the dance floor, I swear it was in the air. Well, some things are just...
Well, wasn't that a fantastic walk along the river? I've just arrived in Brandon, as you've hopefully just seen. There's just a road over there, so I apologise if it sounds like I'm shouting at you. I'm just trying to raise my voice over the sound of it. I've just found this little bench to come and sit down on and relax and chat on. This beautiful little memorial garden here. There's a beautiful view over the little valley there, which I hope you just got a look of. I was thinking, oh, I'll come in here, get a nice little seat and look at the valley, but they're all still wet because you forget after walking for a couple of hours that it's still really early in the morning and the sun hasn't quite defrosted all of the benches. So it's still April, so it can still get a bit frosty at night, but it's a delightful day. And this is one of the weekends that I actually scoped out for a walk, because we're in like peak bloom, so all of the trees are blossoming and all of the flowers are starting to come through, which is really nice to see actually. It's one of my little things that I enjoy looking out at on the walk. So Brandon itself is quite important when it comes to walks, because it's actually the start point of the St Edmund Way, which, if you've been following some of the walks that we've been doing over the last few years, you'll know that we've actually walked bits of the St Edmund Way, and that's actually more down towards Dedham and Manningtree Way. So starts down at Manningtree or here, and you go all the way through Suffolk right down to Manningtree. So we've actually been now at both points of the St Edmund's Way, either start or finish, which is quite interesting because it finishes down there at the train station, which is somewhere that we did on the Colchester Orbital Walk, a walk that we hope to do again. Brandon itself is actually quite famous. It never used to be a very large settlement until they started flint mining here again, and that was when they started using flint for flintlock muskets. So all of the flint that was sourced for those came from the little flint mines here, which is quite an interesting fact. Walking along, and you probably would have seen it in bits of the video so far, all of the houses are sort of covered with flint, in the same way that if you were up in the west coast of Scotland, it's all covered in Permian sandstone. It's really quite a nice thing to see actually. So yeah, Brandon. We're here slightly ahead of schedule, I think. Doing quite well for time, so I'm quite happy to just sit here and enjoy the weather for a bit, get a bit of a bite to eat, and then hopefully head back along the river. I have a feeling this is going to be quite wide and open and agricultural, so who knows what we might find. We might find some animals, might find some interesting birds. There's lots of bird spotters out today, so I may not know what to look for, but they certainly will, and I'll certainly ask them. So yeah, we're heading on towards a little place called Lakenheath now. Some of you might already know it. We're actually heading to the train station, but we'll talk a bit more about that when we actually get there. So anyway, I'm going to head on, and I'll see you at the next stop. Whoa. So then, we've just arrived at Lakenheath train station. It feels a little bit like a Jeff Marshall video, if I'm honest, sat here at a train station. But it's nice to be in a little bit of civilization after that enormously long walk. That path just kept on going on and on and on. Yeah, Lakenheath train station is actually the least used train station in all of Suffolk. Now, I won't steal too much of Jeff Marshall's homework, but he's actually been here to do a video, I believe. So yeah, pretty nifty. Bit of a YouTube celebrity he is. So yeah, but I suppose it all comes down to why would it be such a least used station? Well, this is actually a slightly smaller Lakenheath than the much larger Lakenheath, which is slightly further south by about 1 kilometre, and that's RAF Lakenheath. Now, it once was a Second World War RAF station, and it was home to the US Air Force, and it's been used by the US Air Force ever since. So now they fly the F-15 Eagle out of there, and also they've recently received the F-35A variant, which they fly out of there as well. So yeah, why would it be so least used? You'd think, well, if it's near to a US Air Force station, then surely it'd get a lot of use, because it's quite a big population. But I guess being in Lakenheath, you'd get a car, wouldn't you? You'd go out and you'd get a car and you'd just drive. It doesn't make sense having a train station 1 kilometre away from the actual place where the people live, so they'd have to walk 1 kilometre to then come and get a train. It doesn't make sense. So I guess that's kind of why. Yeah, I think the average of passengers per day was something like 4.3 people per day using this train station. So it's really quite interesting. But yeah, it's here. it's a sight. But anyway, I've got some lunch here actually. I'm just gonna got some quavers and some meaty snacks and some sandwiches. I'll just have a scran on them, get some liquids down me, charge up some batteries, and then we'll be heading on to our next stop, which is slightly further north from here. So yeah, one more stop, then we're at Weeting Castle after that, which is where hopefully we'll meet Harrison and Misha, and then we'll be walking from there all the way back to Stanton Downham, which is going to be quite nice because it's going to be through a bit of coniferous wood, and you know how much I love coniferous woodland, so that's going to be an exciting one, that is. Anyway, I think I've done my fair share of Jeff Marshalling now, and I'm going to have some food. I'll see you at the next location.
It's a glorious day.
Give me one last show. Loosen my mind from within before it starts to wear and thin. I don't know.
Surely that one passenger is the only passenger that Lakenheath's going to do today, so I don't think anybody will get on or off.
So then guys, I'm a little bit ahead of schedule. I've just arrived at a place called Hockwold-cum-Wilton, and I'm actually sat in the Red Line Hotel, the Red Line Inn, which is actually quite a nice little place to sit. It's got a nice beer garden. I've got a Coke to keep me hydrated, so some mini cheddars, and that'll keep me going for a while. I'm a little bit ahead of schedule, so I thought I'd take a little bit of liberties and sit here and chat to you about what's quite interesting about the area. So the village itself is actually relatively new. The original village sat about a mile to the south on the river, and during the Black Death was so full of the plague that they actually had to burn the entire village to the ground and rebuild it up here. This is quite an interesting fact about the village that not a lot of people would really know. And also on top of that, it has got quite a notorious record when it comes to history. It's actually home to one of the greatest Roman silver hoard finds in British history, and it's actually housed in the British Museum now. It's quite an interesting thing. Also there's RAF Feltwell, which is just slightly northwest from here, and it's another US Air Force station. It used to be a bomber station in the Second World War, ran by the Royal Air Force, quite similar to other stations in the area like Coltershall and Marham, very similar layout. But it closed after the Second World War, and it was actually repurposed to be a space surveillance centre for the US Air Force, and it was actually paired with Vandenberg Air Force Station, which currently still launches rockets today. Obviously they don't launch them from RAF Feltwell, that's just a surveillance station, but it's stopped doing that now, and it's actually a housing estate that overflows from Lakenheath and Mildenhall, just because those two stations are really close by and they're actually overflowing a bit. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to take a little walk up to Weeting Heath, which is where we are planning to meet with Harrison and Misha, and hopefully we'll be able to get a good view of those domes, which used to obviously survey space. But anyway, that's enough of me rambling on. I'm gonna get some Coke and enjoy the weather. See you in a bit. So then guys, we've just arrived at Weeting Castle, and I must say, I am actually profoundly disappointed. I was expecting this incredible condition, and I know it's all supposed to be all crumbled and broken, but it's all covered in scaffolding, and I had no idea before then that it was going to be like that. As you can see, we've met with Misha and Harrison. I promised that we'd meet them at Weeting, and we have, so please introduce yourselves.
Oh, I'm Misha.
Oh, Harrison.
That was pretty simple, yeah. So Harrison, as you'll know, has been on loads of walks with us. And Misha is actually new to the team, has never been on a walk with us before, so this is her first time. But, as you're going to learn at Grimes Graves, it isn't going to be the first and only time. We're going to go out and do loads of walks. So, hopefully, you both are welcomed to the Suffolk/Norfolk border for today's walk. Behind us we actually have the church at Weeting, and you'll notice it actually has a round tower on it and a fantastic Union flag flying on top of it. Now, it's actually marked on the Ordnance Survey map as a square tower, but it's not. It's a circular tower, so it's pretty cool.
Looks more like a castle than that thing.
I'd totally agree. Yeah, it's much more impressive. So we thought we'd bring you guys over here just to have a look at it. Our next stop is actually going to be Grimes Graves. So we're going to get back into the coniferous woodland, which you know I'm absolutely over the moon about. And then hopefully from there we'll be able to give you some more updates. So we're going to crack on with walk, and we'll see you at Grimes Graves. Be realistic about things. No. Oh my god, legend.
We could use his head and some sunglasses.
So guys, we've just made our way to the what's it called again? The Giants.
Grimes Graves.
Grimes Graves.
Grimes Graves.
Giants Graves.
No.
Grimes Graves.
Grimes Graves.
See, now I've made the link between Giants Graves and Grimes Graves. I'm not going to be able to. Grimes Graves.
Grimes Graves. You've got this.
I've got this.
The bloopers for this video.
So guys, we've just made our way to Grimes Graves, not the Giants Graves, as I've just made the mistake of saying. And Harrison is over in one of the little flint pits at the moment, prattling around, so we'll let him crack on with that. It looks like he's having good fun. However, I do have an expert ecologist here who's going to tell us a little bit about the heathland that we're in, the woodland. You know I love coniferous woodlands, so yeah, Misha's going to tell us a little bit about this coniferous woodland in particular. I believe we've just seen a swallow. Do you know any facts about swallows?
Well, they're protected, but I was quite surprised to see one around here actually, because usually you don't see them in woodlands and open heathland. But yeah, we've seen kites and buzzards and swallows today, and the coniferous woodland was planted. Thetford Forest was basically planted after like the Second World War, First World War, because they thought they were going to run out of wood, and well, they clearly didn't, because it's still standing here today. But that's why we have Thetford Forest.
Yeah, it's super interesting. It used to be a hunting ground, similar to what the Dedham Vale used to be. All through the Stour Valley down in Essex, there used to be woodland not too different from this. And it was actually where King Henry VIII used to go hunting for all of his deer. And today we've actually seen quite a lot of deer, some small muntjacs and some slightly larger roe deer. See, I'm learning. And it's interesting to see that with all this woodland still here, the nature's thriving. So it's really nice to see. So where we are now at Grimes Graves is an old Neolithic flint mine. And if you remember earlier at Brandon, I mentioned that Brandon's actually famous for its flint. And not that long ago in the 1800s, they actually specifically mined flint in Brandon to use for the flintlock muskets. And they were actually used in the American Civil War. Now, obviously there's a lot of time difference between the 1800s and the Neolithic period. So this is proper ancient history. Now, the reason why I've come here today is because it links nicely into our challenge. And by a slip of the tongue earlier, I mentioned the Giants' Graves, which sounds a lot like Grimes' Graves. Now, the Giants' Graves are a Neolithic structure that were built by the Neolithic people on the Isle of Arran. Now, we've actually been there before, but we don't have very good records of the previous challenge we did there. So that's pretty much what I'm just about to talk about. We are going back to Arran this year in the summer. We're looking at sort of mid to early July. We're going to go there for 9 days, and this time, because I keep saying we, it's not just me going. Misha is hoping to get out there for some of the challenge. Harrison's hoping to get out there for some of the challenge. We're going to have more friends come in as well, so it's not just going to be the 3 of us. And also we're hoping to invite at least 5 people from the island representing their different organisations to come and join the team with us, and hopefully we can make it a proper connecting challenge that's going to bring people from Essex, people from East Anglia, people from all over the UK, and people from Arran all together on this one challenge. I think this is really important to do after COVID. I think it's fairly safe to say that Scotland has had a pretty hard time coming through COVID, and it's been hard not being able to go on holiday these last 2 years. It's been hard not being able to travel around the UK these last 2 years. So I think it's really important that as we get back out there and we start getting back into British tourism and getting back into doing more further afield adventures, that we really do this right. So going back to familiar territory, and we're going to do the island justice this time, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be good fun.
Never been, just very excited.
Yeah,
lots of different ecology, lots of trees that you don't find in the UK or find in England or Wales, but you do find on Arran. So
red squirrels, which is something that you can find in Mersey if you go and do the Mersey Island walk, which we've done, and we've had a very successful video there. So if you want to go watch that, I'll leave a link here for you to go and watch it. But yeah, no, it's going to be good fun, and I'm excited for it, and I hope that you guys are excited for it. I hope obviously Misha and Harrison are excited for it, because they're the ones who are going to have to put up with me for a few days.
Yeah, God, I need compensation for this.
But yeah, no, it's going to be good, and hopefully now that it's out in the air, we can start really pushing it, because we've got about 3 months to go until it actually happens, so we can start pushing it and progressing things a bit more.
Got a couple more training videos as well.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So we're going to hope to try and get down to Rendlesham Forest and do a proper camping 2-day walk, just to make sure we have that experience beforehand, make sure that we can test and adjust the equipment to make sure it all works. But that's pretty much all that I have to say. Do you have anything else to add?
No, just other than the fact that I'm really excited, and thanks for inviting us along.
Yeah, no, it's my pleasure. What I found when I did the walk the first time was it was really good doing it on my own. It made a good point for the actual challenge itself of dealing with loneliness. But when you do it on your own, there's only so much you can talk about something before people start shutting off. And unfortunately, the island, you cannot stop talking about it, because it's just amazing. So I've kind of decided this time I'm going to stop talking about it and actually get people out to go and see it themselves.
Definitely.
So yeah, that about does it for here. We are going to head down to the Brex picnic area, which is where we're going to finish this walk. So hopefully we're going to get some nice views in. The sun is still quite high in the sky, so we're doing good for time. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this walk so far and the information that we've just given you. And hopefully you stay tuned in for the lead up to the challenge, because it's going to get busy, and hopefully you actually enjoy the challenge itself. So yeah, we'll see you at the next stop.
There's a love with his back to me, wandering down through an endless street. I'm curious and would like to intrigue. Is this inspiration or self-defeat? And from the corner his figure fades. And should I follow a retrograde?
out for a nice leisurely walk.
I kind of for Owen to do all the talking.
Yeah. Well, as you can see, we've made it to our final point on the walk. We're not actually getting in the car here. We've got a little walk to get to the car. But this is the last place we're going to talk to you. Because as you can see, probably by the look of our faces, we are both exhausted and running out of sunlight. So, we are at the Breckland picnic site, also known as the St Helens picnic site. And we actually just picked up the St Edmunds Way up again back there, which is nice to see. We mentioned it earlier back at Brandon. And again on this video, I found something I wasn't expecting to find, which is a little moat back there, of which, Harrison, what is the purpose of it?
Don't know, it's a mystery.
Yeah, no one knows. So we were having a little argument as to whether it was a Mott and Bailey or just for giggles, and
no one knows.
It turns out no one knows anyway. So there we are, bit of a fun fact there. Anyway, we're about done for today. Thank you for watching today's video. We're going to do a few nice little views along the river because it is really nice, heading back to the car. But that about does it for today. If you enjoyed today's video, please leave a comment, because that kind of feedback allows us to shape the videos. But even if you didn't enjoy it, like, give us a bit of constructive criticism, because otherwise we'll just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, and it's obviously, like, if you don't enjoy it, then let us know, because then we'll just stop doing it and do something different. But hopefully you do enjoy it, and if you do, leave a like, follow us on social media, links are down in the description. Watch the last video if you haven't already seen it, around the Nar Valley. It was a good fun one, and hopefully we'll be able to make some more small videos of this one as well. But yeah, that about does it for today. We will see you in the next walk. Hi guys, it's me, Owen again. Just about to pop up on the screen are going to be a few videos, some recommended by YouTube, some by myself, and some which are going to be links to playlists of other videos like this as well. So if you enjoyed today's video, you might enjoy those ones. Please go and have a look. If not, I'll see you in the next video.